Hello, and welcome to Drinks with D. My name's Derek Shaw, and I know in my last video I talked a little bit about, like my whole like transition, just like how I came from the Midwest, came to the West Coast, just how different everything is, and it's probably going to take a while, so I'm going to split it up into two different parts. So this first part that you guys are going to be watching is going to be my transition into when I got to Chicago and just like how things were like there. And then later on I'm going to go on then to the LA portion. So to begin, when I was 18 years old, I moved to Chicago. I graduated from high school, and usually people take the summer off to maybe save up a little bit more money or to party, do whatever before, they're getting back into school. And I was somebody who was just like, I cannot stay here any longer. Like, I need to get out. Like, it was like when everyone graduated, they were getting engaged or married or getting pregnant and having children, which I mean is maybe it's good for them, but for me, it just was something I could not surround myself with anymore. Like I feel like like me and these people, we got along really great when we were younger, and I just feel like things were changing, and I just didn't really fit in with a lot of the people that I thought were gonna be people I would know the rest of my life. Sorry, I say a lot. It's just a habit. I'm trying to work on it. Well, I like I said, like I got ready. I was like, okay, we're gonna leave. I'm gonna get out of Columbus, Ohio. I'm done with it. I've done this for like the past 18 years. 5 of those years was a baby or, whatever, so it didn't really matter. Excuse me. And I was like ready, so like I was really ready to go. So and I was just super excited to start studying fashion and like getting into it, and just like that's what I was gonna go to school for. And I just felt like Chicago was gonna be the place to really jumpstart my career, and I could start learning a lot more. So basically, when everything started, like I was like, for my first year, I was like, I really want to do student housing. Mainly because I was like, I don't know anybody in Chicago. I don't know anybody at all. So like why would I get an apartment by myself and be like just there? Like, and at that point in my life, I wanted to be surrounded by people, and I feel like I would die if I didn't know anybody, if I wasn't like, if I didn't have friends, and I feel like it would be harder for me to, really meet a lot of people. So when I moved to Chicago, my parents like they got like a big SUV, and like we packed up like all my different stuff, and my parents made it a big point because they're very strict of like you read before you sign something, and I had to sign an agreement for my student housing, and basically the thing was talking about like the rules. So I was like reading through the rules, and it was like you can't have anyone like you can't check anybody in at like after 12 a.m. and you can't be in anyone else's room past 12 a.m. Like you have to be back in your own room or be down in the lobby with people or something. And my first like thought of all of this was like, okay, what if we're in a class together and we're doing a project together? You're telling me I can't later at night, like we can't be like working on this all night or something, like I can't be doing that? Like that's just, it didn't make sense to me, and I was like, okay, whatever. So when I signed everything, I was like, whatever, I need to do this to start off, and just so I can meet more people and just kind of see, like what my whole experience was going to be. And when I first got there, like our whole way, like the trip there with my family, like I was so excited. Like I just kept like, I was just, so pumped to like meet all these new people, and I was just like, I couldn't wait. I was so excited to be in the city and see what it had to offer. And so the whole time I was just like so giddy, and it was so great. And then I get there, and I move my stuff in, and my parents are getting ready to leave, and they're like, okay, bye, we love you. I start crying, and bawling my eyes out. I'm like, oh my god, please don't leave. Like, I need you here. Take me back home. And thankfully, I had parents who were super supportive of me, and they're like, no, like, we won't let you do that. Like, you need to do this. This is what you're meant to be, and we don't want you to come back home because we know you're not going to be able to do as great things that you'd be able to do if you lived, if you lived here. So when my family left, I had some roommates there who I was living with, and thankfully I had some really great people I lived with at that time. So they introduced me to like 20 people on like the first day, and like that night everyone's like, yeah, like we're all gonna drink in someone's room, like to introduce everybody, and it's gonna be really great. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like I'm down to have a drink and wait for everyone to see me and just see like how I am and how I work my stuff. And so the first night, like we're drinking, and I we're playing like this card game, and I forget what it's called. I haven't played it in such a long time, but like one of the cards, like we had to do a waterfall, and I have like a Four Loko with me, and so we're doing it, and I'm like basically the last one. Like where it's gonna end is gonna be where I am. So like we're chugging, we're doing whatever, and it gets to the point where it's like only halfway around, and I finish my whole Four Loko. Kid you not, drink the whole thing. I put down, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I already finished my Four Loko. And everyone just looks at me like, who is this kid? You need to hang out with us. You seem like you know how to party, and you seem like a fun person. So, like, basically, like, when I first moved there, it was really great. Everyone was super nice, and I made a lot of friends my first night in Chicago. And I had such a great time. Getting used to the public transit, though, was really hard. I did not know like how things worked. I was really scared I was gonna get lost. I felt like, and then I experienced a lot of different people throughout the time, like homeless people that would like pee on themselves and make sure that we all knew that they peed and like kick everyone, and they'd be like cracked out. Who knows? Like I don't know. It was just crazy, and I didn't like the fact that I was out there for the public and people could just like grab me if they wanted to or like anything. So I always had my mace with me. And yeah, so like that was really great. And then once I finished my first year, once like the lease was up for my student housing, me and like two of my really good friends, my one really good friend Danica, and then this other girl, we're gonna call her H. We got our first apartment together, and we were so excited. We were so stoked. It was a really great experience. Like we were like, finally we can have our own rules. We can have people over whenever we want. We all can hang out and stay up as late as we want. We can be as loud as we want, and it was so great. And it got to the point though, like when this other girl, she had like a boyfriend, and like things weren't working out, and then we kind of all drifted apart, had a lot of arguments. Danica and I got a lot closer, so it was really cool. And then later on, then we got another roommate, and I'm gonna call her Bertha. I use Bertha as a term for someone who I don't really care about, and I think it's a really funny name to say. Like I know people say like "Bye Felicia" and stuff like that. I'd rather say Bertha because I think Bertha's a funnier name than Felicia. So that's just kind of me. And so there's this girl, she was like a vegetarian and whatever. And Danica and I were more like McDonald's, Taco Bell. Like that's all we really kind of like. That was like our main food groups. So like we weren't really healthy. I mean, we were just partying and like we were having a good time. We were going to school, working our part-time jobs. I was working at a tanning salon at the time, so it wasn't really that demanding. And it was just like a really great time. So like, with the issues that we had with Bertha, and it's just kind of like everything kind of happened, and there's a lot of arguments, and then I was put in the middle, and it was just like people coming back and forth to me about things, and I mean, it was just really kind of crazy, but I mean, in the whole run, I guess if I have to say of Chicago is like, I had some crazy roommate experiences and then my living situations were a little crazy. I mean, I still had like my really good friends, and then like all the people I met were really great. Like if you would run into somebody like down the street on Chicago or like be in someone's way, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," or they would apologize, and people were they had really good manners in Chicago, and they were really sweet, and it was just a better time. And then I was working in Zara at the time. When we were living with Bertha for that last year, I was in Chicago, and it's just like the people, like when I would greet them, I'd be like, hello, welcome to Zara, like is there anything I can help you with? And they were super nice about it. Like everyone just was like, at least acknowledged the fact that it existed. And I think the whole run of things is like Chicago was such an easy transition for me because I was 6 hours away and I was used to the people, and like people were still very humble even though they were in a bigger city. It's just like they didn't really have a lot of opportunity for me, so that's why later on I ended up moving to LA, which is going to be in the next video. I'm going to talk about, my experience of when I moved to LA. I've lived here since July and now it's October, so basically, this is the end of part one of when I moved to Chicago, and it was a great, easy transition. It's really fun. The weather sucks, but that's fine. I learned a lot, and yeah, so in the next video, I'm going to talk more about my experience to LA. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.